What's up, nerds? Daggerheart is the newest D&D competitor being put out by Matthew Mercer and his company and his friends, the group that makes Critical Role. Our last video, we did an intro and unboxing of the core set. Make sure to go and watch that if you haven't yet. But a bunch of people asked in the comments for us to make a character, so I invited my boy Colin over.
I'm nervous.
And we're gonna make a character in Daggerheart. So if you like this kind of thing, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Like the video to see more of my pretty face. Maybe hit that notification bell if you're feeling frosty. But we can't have bro time without snacks, so let's make some pizza and get into character building. All right, we've got our pizza and we're ready to start making some characters, except we've got digital sheets and Colin still decids to
I like paper.
He's literally copying the sheet down into his notebook.
I don't own this yet. And I would like to explain and look at a character sheet on my free time. So
I can just give you one of the printouts.
want to do it my way, Sean.
Okay.
I do want to print out, but I also want to write it down. I've also done this with 5th edition and 3.5. So, because I'm that guy.
Colin plays a lot of D&D, like a lot of D&D.
Not as much as I want, though.
So, getting his input as we go through this character creation process is gonna be really cool because he plays a lot more than pretty much anybody. He plays the most of pretty much anyone I know. And so getting his feedback on the experience would be pretty cool.
I'm also gonna say this. I am very biased to 3.5 because it was what I was brought into. I think personally, for me, it's more dynamic in a lot of ways. I like 5th edition and how welcoming it is to a lot of people, but for somebody who kind of likes the crunch of 3.5 and some of the earlier editions, I think some things are a little simplistic personally for 5th edition. And the little bit that Sean has explained to me about this, there's some of it that is going to throw me for a loop, and there's some of this that I'm just going to go, why would you do such a thing? So we'll see what happens.
When building a character in Daggerheart, first thing you do, which I know you remarked the other day that you really like,
happy.
You pick your class first. The classes in Daggerheart are as follows: Bard, Druid, Guardian, Ranger, Rogue, Seraph, Sorcerer, Warrior, Wizard. And underneath of each of those, you have a subclass. For Bard, you have the Troubadour and the Wordsmith. For the Druid, you have the Warden of the Elements and the Warden of Renewal. For the Guardian, you have the Stalwart and the Vengeance. For the Ranger, you have the Beastbound and the Wayfinder. For the Rogue, you have the Nightwalker and the Syndicate. For the Seraph, you have the Winged Sentinel and the Divine Wielder. For the Sorcerer, you have Elemental Origin or Primal Origin. For Warrior, you have the Call of the Brave or the Call of the Slayer. And for the Wizard, you have the School of Knowledge or the School of War. So what are you thinking? What kind of character do you want to make?
So I was thinking either a Sorcerer, because I've played a Wizard before and I love a Wizard. Sorcerers seem to be a little bit more flexible on the way that they work, at least in normal D&D, and I've always kind of wanted to play a Sorcerer. However, the Guardian also sounds really cool, so I'm kind of torn between the Sorcerer and the Guardians.
Subclasses for Guardian: the Stalwart, if you want to take heavy blows and keep fighting, or the Vengeance, if you want to strike down enemies who harm your allies.
Oh, that's fun. I like that the Guardian, it's like, I'm a tank, make me a tank, I will take the tank.
Vengeance seems to be flavored like it's the Sentinel feat in D&D, where if something attacks something near you, you go after it.
Yes, okay, you're right. And then what's the Sorcerer subclasses?
Elemental Origin, so you pick an element and you master that element, and you have like all kinds of crazy flavor control of that element.
And that's what Gavin did, okay.
Yeah. And then you have Primal Origin, where you can tap into the essence of magic itself and control the individual particles and theories behind what magic is.
Oh, I could have a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah, you could.
Oh, oh man, I kind of wish this was a live video so that this way I could get input from people. Oh man.
Are you gonna roll your 2d12, your fate die?
You know what?
Decide it?
So this is something, once again, kind of threw me for a small loop, but I have played a Star Wars thing, so it made a little sense to me. Let's say fate die, the purple.
Okay.
This one is gonna be, we'll call that Hope, we'll call that the Guardian.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with the Vengeance side and the
Sparkly
wine, actually.
Oh, okay.
Is going to be the Sorcerer
Primal Origin.
Primal Origin. So higher number wins, right?
Let's see what fate has in store for you.
I rolled a 2 and a 3, first off. A 2 and a 3. Horrible roll in general, which apparently doesn't really affect this very much.
Not terribly.
So the actual numbers don't really affect a lot of stuff. It's more of which one's higher, from what I understand Sean telling
Yeah.
me. Okay, so I guess I'm playing the Guardian,
the
the
Vengeance
Vengeance Guardian is what I'm gonna play, okay?
All right, cool.
Cool.
So
Vengeance Guardian,
we're
let's
gonna
do
go
it.
into. We're gonna be doing your digital character sheet on here.
Yes.
Because now that the game is out all the way, we can download all the character
We have
sheets
access
and
to
have
that.
access to all of it. Which I know I complained about in my last video that all of these different class-specific sheets weren't in the book itself. It's cool that you can just download these and do them for free.
And there were a couple, from what I remember you telling me, that when you're looking at the classes, like you can see a little bit of how they're structured, but they're not necessarily like usable, right? Am I correct in that, or am I wrong in that? There were a couple that you could. And I'm gonna say something that might be a little interesting to some people. I am this old. If you don't have a printer at your house, the public library still works.
Yep.
It's about 10 cents a copy.
We know that your subclass is going to be Vengeance. So go
All
ahead and write Vengeance under subclass.
I am gonna change color just so it's easier to see. Let's go blue.
All right, so up here under subclass,
Subclass, it's you said Vengeance.
Vengeance. Vengeance.
My handwriting's terrible.
So the next thing we're going to do is choose your heritage. We're going to pick from the different races that exist in the world.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm very excited about this because, once again, I'm used to standard D&D. So I'm used to dwarves, gnomes, halflings, elves, half-elves, half-orcs. I'm used to just those straight ones. And like, I know that there's a lot of people, especially in 5th edition, where there's a lot more races and stuff like that to choose from. But this is gonna be my first experience dealing with more than just the core couple races.
Cool.
I'm not gonna lie, I wanna do the monkey.
You want to do the monkey?
I wanna do the monkey.
You're gonna do the monkey?
I wanna do the monkey.
The Simians?
Yes, the Simians.
Or,
So I actually played, it wasn't GURPS, it was
Simeia. Yeah,
Simeia.
there we go.
So it wasn't that, it was something else. It was a very funny, silly game that was card-based as well, but very different. And I was a ghost simian.
Oh.
Was my
You were
like,
Ghost Wukong from League of Legends.
basically, which is really cool, right? You know, so there's some really interesting things in that. But
So you're
this,
gonna have to figure out what kind of monkey your guy is, or what kind of ape. Because Simeia represents anthropomorphic monkeys and apes with long limbs and prehensile feet, but their appearance reflects all simian creatures, from the largest gorilla to the smallest marmoset. Their size does not align with their animal counterparts, and they can be anywhere from 2 to 6 feet tall. All Simiia can use their dexterous feet for nonverbal communication, work, and combat. Additionally, some have prehensile tails that can grasp objects or help balance during difficult maneuvers. These traits grant members of this ancestry unique agile aids and help them in a variety of physical attacks. In particular, Simiia are skilled climbers that can easily transition from bipedal movement to knuckle walking or climbing and then back again. On average, they live for roughly 100 years.
oh, that's pretty nice. Heritage, I'd write Simia, right?
Almost. There's one prefix to Simiia, and then once we've established that you're a Vengeance Guardian, we've established that you're a Simiia. Now we need to establish your community that you come from.
Ooh, all right.
And so once we do that, we're going to go back through and add all of the features of each of those onto your character sheet.
Okay.
So, communities. The community you grow up in is very vital to how you would say you come up as a person, right? And so
Real life.
They have different bonuses and different things that affect your character based on their background. For example, highborns are like nobles, people of privilege, right? Loreborns are people who grew up in, like, say, a scholar city and grew up around mages and learned people and were constantly in and out of libraries.
Okay.
Orderborn means you're from a collective that focuses on, like, discipline or faith, and you uphold principles that reflect your experiences there. Ridgeborn, people that were from the mountains. Seaborn, people from the coast. Slyborn, people from, like, the underbelly of cities and metro areas. Underborn, underground. You know, Wanderborn are nomads. Wildborn are from trees and nature.
Well, let's look at Wildborn real quick because we're right next to it. Yeah, that would make sense, I guess, with the Simian background. Otherwise, there's one or two other ones earlier that sounded interesting.
So being part of a Wildborn community means you live deep in the forest. Wildborn communities are defined by their dedication and conservation of their homelands. Many have strong religious or cultural ties to the fauna that they live among. The community feature you would get is Lightfoot. Your movement is naturally silent, and you have advantage on rolls to succeed in not
Oh my
being
gosh, that might be so nice with being kind of like a heavy fighter. The way that I'm picturing, at least the class that I'm going into, is that they're going to be kind of a paladin-esque, so heavier armors and stuff. That would be really cool. Obviously, Orderborn.
because of your Guardian.
Yeah. It would make sense. Orderborn would make sense. But then the other thing too is the Loreborn, the people who are of, like, knowledge and stuff like that, right? So a thought I had with that is that maybe something horrible happened to people who are about knowledge and not necessarily about defense.
Oh,
and
like
stuff.
Ohara from freaking One Piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Somebody called a buster call on your monkey island.
I will burn their cities to the ground. All right. First off, the tree one, really cool. I like how that sounds, but I do also want to.
So let's check out Loreborn.
Yes.
Being a part of a Loreborn community means you're from a society that favors strong academic or political prowess. Communities value knowledge highly. They frequently have historical preservation practices. You see a lot of political advancement, scientific study. Your community feature is that you have advantage on roles that involve history, culture, or politics of a prominent person or place.
That still would be nice for the Guardian as well, though, too.
Yeah, you're well read in different cultures, in the history of the world, and if you have to like engage with politicians, you have you're good at engaging with people that are in the government.
Gotcha. All right, cool. What does the Orderborn do?
Orderborn, being part of an Orderborn community means you're from a collective that focuses on discipline or faith. Orderborn are frequently some of the most powerful among their surrounding communities, and by aligning with members of their society to a common value or goal, such as a god, a doctrine, an ethos, or even a shared business or trade, the ruling bodies of these enclaves are able to mobilize large populations with less effort. Your community feature is that you are dedicated. You can record 3 sayings or values that your upbringing installed in. Once per rest, short or long, you can describe how you're embodying one of these principles through your current action and roll a d20 as your hope die instead of a d12. Ugh. So you can basically say, I'm doing this thing. This thing that I'm doing embodies this philosophy from me as a child. So I'm going to roll my hope die as a d20 instead.
Okay, I'm also going to say this. I am also a metagamer. I will not deny that in any way, shape, or form. I like to be the best of the best of the best, and that sounds incredible. I like the Lightfoot. I think that's really cool. It would go great with the Simian background. The Loreborn is interesting and cool, like I kind of said, with talking political and towns and stuff like that. It would be great for that. But man, I can't. I was going to roll 2 die again between the tree and the Loreborn. However, the Orderborn. I'm going Orderborn because that is how I play. Spell it for me because I can't spell.
Orderborn with an E at the end.
That doesn't help, Sean.
Or Orderborne, Simeia, Simiah.
I'm gonna write monkey. No, I'm just kidding.
Do you know what kind of monkey you want to be?
So I love orangutans,
dude.
And I really want to do an orangutan.
Are you gonna be a big beefy orangutan?
I kind of want to be. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I really want to be a big beefy
orangutan.
Dude, I saw a big beefy orangutan in plate mail, and I was like, I mean, everybody wants to be a gorilla or something. Like I like how chimps look because they're also kind of that. I like monkeys in general, but dude, I love orangutans. I think that's so like perfect. Just the really absurdly long arms and like just like the big face, and they are gentle giants, but at the same time too, you don't want to mess with one. Yeah, I'm doing an orangutan.
All right, so let's go through the stuff from your class, so we can actually start writing this down.
Yes.
So your starting evasion is 9.
Okay, so that's a 9.
Starting hit points is 7. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 already on there because this is your guardian.
That's the bait. Yeah.
We're gonna go down to your inventory. You can pick from one of these 2. Do you want a totem from your mentor, or do you want a secret key?
I'm that guy. I'm going secret key, man. Secret key all the way. I get in so much trouble in my normal D&D games because I keep grabbing books and touching stuff I shouldn't. Like, there was a magic sword in my last game, and it was stuck in a stone, and I didn't know if it was evil or not, but bad guy showed up, and I was like, I can't let him have the sword. I touched it. It was not an evil sword. It was just a magical sword that started attacking me. So it was bad. All right, cool. I'm going with the secret key.
So you can see under hope, here you have frontline tank. Spend 3 hope to clear 2 armor slots. And it's nice that you don't have to write that down.
It's already there.
The other day when I was messing around with this, I was manually writing all this. And this is why I was really glad that you can just get the class-specific character sheets online for free, because all of this stuff's already written on here. Your class features Unstoppable. Once per long rest, you can become unstoppable. You gain an Unstoppable die. At level 1, your Unstoppable die is a d4. Place it on your character sheet in the space provided, starting with the 1 value face up. After you make a damage roll that deals 1 or more hit points to a target, increase the Unstoppable die value by 1. When the die's value would exceed the maximum value, or when the scene ends, remove the die and drop out of Unstoppable. At level 5, your Unstoppable die increases to a d6. While you are unstoppable, you gain the following benefits. You reduce the severity of physical damage by 1 threshold.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's a bit like Rage.
Yeah.
You add the current value of Unstoppable die to your damage roll, and you cannot become restrained or vulnerable.
Oh, that's so nice.
So you're basically just like,
dude, I cannot imagine how this would be if I just did the normal Guardian that was like the what was the subclass?
Both get that.
Well, I know they both get that, but I cannot imagine how absurdly tanky you would become if I did the other one and it wasn't the Vengeance. If I hadn't gone Vengeance and I'd gone the other one, I cannot imagine how absurdly like tanky I would become.
You do have another class feature from your subclass, so you don't have space to write it on here per se. Oh no, wait, you're gonna have it on your card.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay.
You're
Cool.
gonna have it on your card. Speaking of cards, let's go ahead and pull out your first 3. The core set comes with cards, and these cards have that information that's not on your character sheet, so that you can have it quickly accessible. So you had the
Sword and the Shield are the 2.
Orderborn.
Oh, yes, that.
And I'm not looking for those yet.
Okay, I'm jumping the gun here. I know enough to make me annoying.
Okay. There we go. Your race features doesn't have a place on your character sheet to put, so you have it on here. Nimble, gain 1 permanent +1 to your evasion at character creation.
Nice.
Natural climber, you have an advantage on agility rolls that involve balancing and climbing.
Heck yeah.
So real quick, let's go ahead, let's bust this back open.
Okay, so that
And
9.
that 9 becomes a 10.
All right, cool. 10.
10. And then Vengeance, these are your class features. You gain an additional stress slot.
Okay.
Now that all of that is together, you've picked your class, your background, your character's race. So the next thing you're going to do is assign your character traits. So this is like what your strength, dex, con, and stuff would be. They're a little bit different in this.
Okay.
There's no skills that you roll like you would have in D&D. Every one of those skills is just associated with one of these.
Okay.
And so if you wanted to pick a lock, you might make a finesse roll. If you wanted to balance on a tightrope, you might make an agility roll.
Okay.
If you wanted to try to convince somebody, dissuade somebody, or intimidate somebody, you might make a presence roll.
Oh, okay.
And so it all just narrows down to those categories.
And there's no rolling.
Oh yeah, no, not for these. No, they're based on bonuses. They're not based on like the big numbers, which equate to a bonus.
Oh, weird. Okay.
And so how this works is when you're making your character and you're assigning your stats, you're given the following bonuses: +2, 2 +1s, 2 zeros, and a -1. You get to pick where those go.
So here's a question too, because obviously, once again, D&D is my reference point. Depending on what class you're doing, Constitution's good for certain classes, Strength is good for a class, Dex is good for certain classes. So is there anything similar to that?
Yes.
In this? Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what I was pulling
Once
up.
again, metagaming.
You can see on the second page of your character sheet, you have the
Suggested
suggested traits, which would be +1 to agility, +2 to strength, -1 finesse, no instinct, 1 presence, no knowledge. And you can see, so most of your stuff is going to come across as like strength and agility.
Yeah, which
or
makes
your
sense.
ability to convince people of things because you come from an orderly society.
Yeah.
So you have a certain
So that's my
presence.
presence.
About you. But if you want to play him differently, you can change that.
I also like to win.
There's no winning in D&D.
I know there isn't. I hate to say it that way, but this is the competitive person in me where I'm like, I like that setup. I think that's a really good setup. But at the same time, too, I'm like, okay, I know I want my strength to be a 2. I know that for a
+2 in strength.
I'm just gonna put a 2.
Okay.
Agility, it makes sense for it to be a +1.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do that. Finesse, control, high tinker.
These are like roguish,
Yeah.
fair kind of things. Your ability to find motor control.
Yeah. Which monkeys just should. But I get it. Present sense,
Instinct is
navigation.
like your perception, your ability to see what's
Yeah,
around you,
charm,
noticing
perform.
things. Figure out what you're going to put your -1 first.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. So you know what's funny? I'm actually gonna put a -1 on presence.
Really? Okay, so you're not going to play a charismatic orangutan. You're going to play
No.
an orangutan. Who's
I'm gonna
really
be
more
kind
brute
of in your
force.
face. I'm gonna be. I hate to say think barbarian, but I am gonna be a little bit more blunt and kind of just like, look, this is what it is, and I don't care what you think.
See, I'm going to say that's actually a pretty good read of that, and I'll tell you why. I would argue that
It's a
intimidating people also would have a high presence.
Yes.
However, you're not intimidating. You're just like flat.
Yeah, which is something that has always bugged me, that your charisma determines your intimidation factor, and I get that you have to have something. So I get that that's how it is, and I get that that's how the presence is as well.
The big thing about Daggerheart is that a lot of the roles in this, A, are up to the game master, and B, it's whatever supports your narrative. So if all of a sudden this big angry, Simeia wants to intimidate somebody, maybe as the GM, I ask him to make a different kind of roll than a presence roll, right? Maybe he makes a strength roll because he smashes something to increase the intimidation factor. But that also has to be kind of instigated from the player, like the player has to flavor it that way for me to give it that roll.
I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 1 agility, 2 strength, 0 finesse, 1 instinct, -1 on presence, and knowledge 0. I think that one switch, is is what I want. I think that's gonna be fun for me.
So now we're gonna pick what weapons you're gonna use.
All
of them.
I'm gonna hop on one foot and use nunchucks in the other 3 limbs.
So you can see.
I'm just kidding, I'm not doing that.
All right, so you can see on your sheet, your suggested primary weapon is a battle axe. Your suggested armor is chainmail armor. But we're gonna pull up the list.
I'm also gonna say there's something that I like. It has battle axe. It has that it's a strength melee is what it's basing it off of, and then it says two-handed. So it doesn't have to be a battle axe, but it's suggesting a two-handed weapon. I like that it kind of has that little extra, so you don't have to just go with what it tells you.
This is the list of primary weapons, right? You've got broadsword, longsword, battle axe, greatsword, mace, warhammer, dagger, quarterstaff, cutlass, rapier, halberd, spear, shortbow, crossbow, longbow for tier 1 weapons, which is what you're going to be picking up.
I can only choose from those, right? I can't come up with something else. Okay, so why are there tiers of weapons?
Because at different levels, you can start to access better weapons.
Is that sort of like finding magic weapons and stuff like that? Okay.
Well, magic weapons are completely different from physical weapons. In this, they're basically one and the same. Whether it's magic or not doesn't determine if it has a bonus or not.
Oh, interesting.
Like the quality make of a dwarven sword might be better than a standard longsword, and so it gets a feature. Whereas you can have just like a simple arc, some simple glowing rings that you use to cast your spells with at first if you're a spellcaster.
Yeah.
But you might have a magic weapon that is like improved glowing rings. The ego blade.
The ego blade.
You can see some of these have features. So like a greatsword, for example, you have -1 to evasion, but on a successful attack, you can roll an additional damage die and discard the lower result.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
Or a rapier. When you make an attack, you can mark a stress to target another creature within attack range and get 2 attacks in a turn.
That's cool. However, I'm going to stop him right here and now because I want to be a polearm user, which is like spears and stuff like that. Halberd is literally one of the weapons. So that is my weapon. It's two-handed.
All right, so your primary is a halberd.
Primary halberd.
Your trait is strength, so you can try like STR. Your range is very close. It's not melee. It's bigger than melee.
Oh, yeah, because it's polearm.
Yeah, so you can hit anything within 5 feet.
I got long arms, too.
Yeah, you can use it with your tail.
I don't have a tail.
You're an orangutan.
I'm an orangutan. I can use it with my feet, though.
Yep, you can
I'm not gonna lie.
Bicycle
I am not going to lie. I am looking forward to all of the crazy street dance. Breakdance fighting styles that I can do because I can use my feet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. Okay, sorry. Damage dice.
D10 plus 2.
D10 plus 2, and what's the type?
And it is physical.
I'm just gonna put PH for physical.
And then mark both hands. You have a level 1 proficiency. You can upgrade that. It's already marked.
Yeah.
But you can upgrade that as you go. The number of proficiencies you have determine how many damage dice you get.
Cool. What is the feature of this weapon? Because it looks like there's something there. Is there one? I don't know if there
Cumbersome. -1 to finesse.
And I'm gonna say this too. This is where the metagamer in me is like, well, if I knew that, I would have chosen. I'm not doing that.
You're allowed to redo it.
No,
it's not
I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to. I already said I was going to do this, so I'm going to do this. But this is where like I would go over this, and I'd probably spend a little bit more time on the weapons.
You could just go to a 0 in presence and put a -2 in finesse.
We might come back to that. Let's continue.
Okay.
I might come back to that. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Because you are using a two-handed weapon, you don't get a secondary.
Gotcha.
But you get to pick what armor type you want.
All right, cool.
The armor you have available is gambeson, leather, chainmail, or full plate.
Okay.
What this does is it affects the thresholds of your damage. So if you look at your damage thresholds, health and damage work differently in Daggerheart. You don't have like a certain numerical value for your HP that damage then subtracts from. You have certain thresholds that chop away individual chunks of HP. For example, if you use chainmail armor, your first threshold is 7. Anything below a 7 on damage is minor damage. Anything above it is major damage.
I'm gonna write 7 in there, and I'm gonna go ahead and just do. I'm just gonna do this for fun, and then I can erase it if I choose to.
Cool. The other thing is that if something rolls less than a 15, it's major damage. If something rolls higher than a 15, it's severe damage. So there's 3 levels: minor, major, and severe. For minor damage, if you take minor damage, you mark 1 hit point. For major damage, you mark 2 hit points. Major damage. Severe damage, if you take severe damage, you mark 3 hit points. There are a lot of features in this, like we read earlier, that certain features allow you to say lower a damage threshold by 1. So if you would have taken severe damage, maybe you knock it down to major damage, so you get to save a hit point. You're also going to get -1 to evasion.
-1 to evasion.
For chainmail.
I think I'm just going to stick with chainmail. I would really love to use full plate, but right now I'm going to stick with the chainmail just because it's only the 1 negative to my evasion. So then this is going to drop that back down to a 9.
The other thing is that it's got a base score of 4. So under armor, you're going to put 4. So you have 4 of these little shields to use.
Okay.
Anytime you take damage, you can nick one of those shields as damage to your armor and lower the damage you're receiving by 1 threshold.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
And then on a short rest, you can repair some of it. On a long rest, you can repair all of it.
Awesome. Oh, that's really cool. I like that a lot.
In a short rest, you can only take 2 actions, whether that's trying to de-stress, whether that's trying to clear some of your HP, whether that's trying to get a hope token, which we can go over later. But the on long rest, you can also only do 2, but they are bigger effects.
Gotcha.
So you basically, every time you rest, pick 2 things to do, and one of those things can be repairing your armor. Armor is still a little wonky to me in this system, so if I misunderstood that, let me know in the comments, because I'm not totally sure I'm actually interpreting that right, but I think I am. So please let me know in the comments. So I can have a more accurate understanding of it.
I just roll on the page. I can't do it.
We're going to do your inventory. We're going to go over your base, the base things you get. You get a torch, you get 50 feet of rope, you get basic supplies. That's like a 10 bedroll, tinderbox rations and things like that. You get a handful of gold, which is about 10 gold pieces.
Okay, explain that to me.
So you mark that over here. So
Okay.
gold, again, works a bit differently. This is specifically so that, like, if you're throwing a piece of gold into a well, or like giving a piece of gold to like a busker, like you're not keeping meticulous track, right? You just get to do it.
Okay. So like if
but
I'm
if
buying
you-
something, it's like, this is worth 2 handfuls.
You're like, is this enough? And they're like, yay or nay,
Oh, okay, cool.
right?
Cool.
But if you want to keep meticulous track, they say in the book that roughly 10 gold pieces is equal to a handful. 10 handfuls is a bag, 10 bags is a chest, and if you have any more gold than that, you have to pay someone to keep it for you.
Okay, cool. Interesting.
Let's see, you get your choice, a minor health potion or a minor stamina potion. Minor health potion clears 1d4 hit points. Minor stamina potion clears 1d4 stress.
I'm gonna do the health potion.
Okay, so 1 minor health potion. And do you want to carry a sigil of your home city with you? The last thing is, like, you have class-specific things that you can throw on there, and if the GM wants to give you something that involves your class or background, you can throw it on there.
I think I do.
So
yeah,
a sigil of your home city. Now we're going to go over your background. First thing we can do is go do your character description. So on the second page of these character sheets, they've got different tools you can use to give your character background, connections, describe your character, things like that. But whereas in my remembrance, because I remember like 4 and 3.5 of D&D, they didn't really give you any options, just a big empty box, and you had to try to get creative on your own.
Yeah.
They give you a lot of help with this. So for example, let's do your character description, right? So clothes that are casual, intricate, loose, padded, royal, tactical, or weathered.
So I'm gonna go tactical.
Tactical.
Uh-huh.
All right, so eyes like carnations, earth, endless ocean, fire, ivy, lilacs, night, seafoam, or winter.
What the heck does that mean?
What do you think of when you think of your orangutan's eyes? Are they dark? Are they
No,
are they fiery? Are they?
I love that carnations is, I mean, it's flower. Granted,
I mean,
get
it's
it,
like
but
somebody with a starburst pattern in their eye.
I like seafoam. Seafoam's kind of cool.
Eyes like seafoam, so he's a blue-eyed orangutan. So a body that's broad, carved, curvy, lanky, rotund, stock, tall.
Oh, he's carved.
He's carved. He's
yeah.
a ripped.
See, but the thing that's
orangutan.
funny is they have toned at the bottom right.
Yeah, but carved is different from toned.
Yeah, that's true too.
A skin the tone of ashes, clover, falling snow, fine sand, obsidian, rose, sapphire, wisteria.
What is wisteria? Isn't that like a purple?
It's like a lilac purple.
Oh, we're going lilac purple.
He's like a purple orangutan.
He's purple with blue eyes.
Dude, he's all.
That's gonna be cool.
That's pretty cool.
I like that a lot. Okay, I'm also gonna say this. I'm a sucker for purple. If you couldn't tell. So yeah, that's gonna be really cool.
An attitude like a captain, a caretaker, an elephant, a general, or a wrestler.
Ooh, that's a hard one. It would either be, I don't understand. I mean, I guess elephant's kind of smart and more calculated. Captain or a wrestler?
Wrestler's gonna be big and larger than life and like WWE.
Oh
like,
no,
theatrical.
that's not him. That's
So
not
probably a captain or a general, somebody who's more stoic. Would you say somebody who's more tactical or somebody who's more hands-on?
He's not very smart. We didn't make him very intelligent.
No, so maybe a
he's,
captain.
he's gonna be more of a captain. He's gonna be more hands-on with stuff.
Okay, cool. All right, so now, background questions. Who from your community did you fail to protect, and why do you still think of them?
Oh god, see, these are questions that I don't usually answer in D&D. I don't go this in depth with most of my characters in D&D.
That's going to help your roleplay.
I know.
And it helps me as the DM
and
come up with different things and story hooks for your character.
And this is something that I will say 5th edition did amazing on, and I'm liking this aspect of this game, is that it helps somebody get into their character so that role-playing becomes more natural. I could go with the stereotypical sibling or parent, or
You can go with a talented underling in your squad who wound up going down to a group of bandits.
You know what's interesting? I'm just gonna say generic family member, because I don't want it to be a sibling, I don't want it to be my parent, because I'm thinking simians are usually pretty tight-knit family groups.
So you can say like a cousin in your unit.
Okay.
And why do you still think of him? It can be as simple as regret, it can be as complex as
I
the
gave
situation.
him bad advice.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because there's so many ways to interpret that, because
Right?
it could be like, you need to be strong, you should be proud, you should be this, and that could have gotten him killed or put into a bad situation.
Into your like thing about being a captain, right? Because
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it's like, am I a good captain? Because my intelligence might not actually be, or my knowledge actually isn't all that great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's going to play into the insecurity of the character. Because he's not with these guys anymore. He's out adventuring. Why did he leave?
Yeah. I know that's not how you spell advice either, so.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I thought there were 2 Ds.
Oh my god, no.
I can't spell, y'all. All right, cool.
We grew up in Kentucky. You're lucky we can read.
My mom was an English teacher. Sorry.
You've been tasked with protecting something important and delivering it somewhere dangerous. What is it, and where does it need to go?
Oh my
This
gosh.
is a current B plot for your character.
Wow, this is like nice for the DM, GM.
Mhm.
You know what? I'm gonna make it the key.
Ooh. Okay. The secret key.
The secret key.
And where does it have to go?
I'm trying to make this really interesting. I want to make it like weird and hard and fun. It's kind of generic, but I still like it. A banished member of the troop.
Okay, a banished member of your tribe of Simeia. What do you consider an aspect of yourself to be a weakness? What is it, and how has it affected you? I mean, that potentially even just plays
I'm a
into the
little
first
bit
thing.
out of breath. Cardio's not great for me. I'm gonna do something that is actually real of me. I'm a very positive person, and I think things are going to turn out better than they probably will. So like, let's say like an assignment sort of a thing, just as a basic go from.
You have a toxic PMA.
Yeah, kind of.
Toxic positive mental attitude.
I'm like, you know what? Yeah, of course, we could definitely do that. I'm definitely going to be able to get that done. And then I'm down to like the wire, and sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't. So I'm overly confident. And I'm going to write positive in quotes. How has this affected you?
You overpromise and underdeliver.
Not all the time though. See, which is really funny is that like most of the time I very much
I'm not saying in
underpromise.
real life.
I know, but I'm drawing this from a real place, Sean. No, I overpromise and underdeliver expectation wise.
Now, typically, connections are the next part of character creation. When you're doing connections, those are connections to other people in your party. So if you're doing a session 0 and everybody's sitting around the table and you want to try to make it so your adventuring party's already been around for a little bit, you can come up with connections that show, like, for example, if I had a character and Colin had a character, Colin could say, how did I save his life the first time we met? And it adds to the backstory of the party.
Oh, that's really cool. I like that.
What small gift did a member of the party give you that you notice you always carry with you? What lie have you said about yourself to other people that they absolutely believe? But that's all in regards to people in the party. Now, right now, we don't have a party. We don't have a game. This is all for a thought experiment. Maybe we'll play this character. I don't know. But
hope so. He's cool.
We're just going to skip that part for now because you're making this kind of in isolation. There's no sessions.
Yeah.
The next thing is your experiences. In Daggerheart, your character's experiences are one of the core ways you express their backstory and expertise through mechanics. An experience is a word or a phrase that encapsulates a specific set of skills your character has acquired over the course of their exciting life. You get to start with 2 experiences and they each get a +2 modifier. There's no set list of them. They do have some examples, but you're encouraged to come up with your own and come up with some flavor, right? So like, I'll throw out some examples. They have like backgrounds, characteristics, specialties, skills, phrases. Backgrounds might be a blacksmith, a bodyguard, a field medic, a thief. Characteristics might be an affable, battle-hardened, loyal, observant, a prankster. Specialties might be a gambler, a healer, a master of disguise, a tactician, survivalist. Skills could be an animal whisperer, a bartering, deadly aim, fast learner, incredible strength, liar. Phrases might be catch me if you can, fake it till you make it, first time's the charm, no one left behind, the show must go on. etc.
So,
And you already need to come up with one.
So I'm going to say this too. This is another metagamer thing for me. If I really wanted to, because what this gives me bonuses to certain things.
Yep. If you can word it, basically you spend a hope, one of the liquid resource you get as you roll. Because if you ever roll with hope, right, whether you succeed or fail, if your hope die is higher, you get a hope.
Okay.
And if you have that hope, you can spend that hope to say, look, I'm spending a hope to use my experience to augment my roll before you make it. And then you can make a narrative argument as to why that is the case.
Oh, interesting. Still, as a metagamer, you can use this. Me personally, I could use this to my advantage on my negative things. If, like, I have negatives. However, those weird, rare occasions, I'm not going to do that because that is going to require a lot of thought.
The other thing, though, is that they want it to be talented or focused. They're too broad, and they can be applied to they're not specific enough.
Yeah.
So they need to be relatively specific.
And it's not one of each of these things. It's just like these.
No, you get two total.
Two total.
Right
so a background, characteristic, specialties, or a fray. So it's two of those.
Two of any of these. Yeah.
Oh,
or two of any of them.
So I can have one of the other.
It doesn't have to be.
Two.
Literally, these are just examples. You can just make them up.
Okay. Well, I know, but I'm saying like two in the background, or one in the background, one in characteristics.
Yeah, you could have like
cool.
you were a captain and you come from a close-knit family, or you were the leader of your troop and you know how to do like sign language with your feet. I don't know.
Gotcha. I actually am an amazing musician.
Okay.
Because of having 4 usable fingers.
Your presence is -1. So that might be kind of
that's
hard.
kind of silly.
That's exactly what you were just saying, though, is that it might play into your...
It would give you that chance.
Though, is that it wouldn't... You might not have a whole lot of presence, and that's like somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of charisma in person, but then as soon as they pick up an instrument, it's like, oh, look at you!
Oh, yeah, look at that. And then they go right back to being awkward when they stop doing it.
Exactly.
Ooh, let's do this. It's going to go off of instinct.
Okay.
I hate to say sort of like good examples are Jane, whatever his name is from The Mentalist, or Psych, where I'm just hyper observant about things.
So I would put just hyper aware under experience. So put hyper aware, and at that solid bar at the end, put +2. Yep. So if you are trying to like see things around you, check on things, look for traps, any kind of perception thing, you pretty much get a +2.
And that's instinct, is what that's off of.
It would be depending.
Okay. So, but it's just a +2.
Yeah, it's just so that you can argue. You're not adding it up there. You're just, it's like, that's why you spend it hope to then augment the roll.
Okay, cool. And then I get one more thing.
Yep.
I really want to do a phrase, but I'm not good at, I can't come up with names for characters. So like a phrase would be really hard, but I think a phrase would be very funny. Like
3 in the bush is 4 in the limbs. I don't know.
It would have to be 5 in the bush is worth 4 in the hand, or something like 4 in the hands, and just like have three limbs standing up.
Yeah, because you've got 5 limbs you can use. Oh no, you don't have a tail.
I don't.
Nature's friend, never again, no one left behind.
I'll never let go.
I'll never let go.
Don't let go, Jack.
I'll never let go. I promise.
Which is really funny. Okay, no, that's definitely what we're doing. And the reason why I'm like freaking out funny about this is because I have 4 limbs that I can use with hands.
Never let go.
Never let go.
That's amazing.
Or if somebody's attacking, I can grab like with a foot and grab it with a hand, and then grab a hand.
You can grab.
I'll never let go.
Dude, imagine if you grapple with your arms and then halberd with your legs. Never let go. Love that so much.
Okay, so really quickly, so now that I have that, it's a +2 still is what it is?
Yeah, it's still a +2.
That is, oh God, I love that so much. Hold up. I'll never let go. Okay.
Okay. You still have to come up with a phrase, I think, for your background too, because of your Orderborn thing. Record a saying.
Okay, but that's a little different. The Orderborn is more of like something that would go along with like my background. Yeah. So that is something I came up with that is terrifying.
Yeah. So you're gonna need to come up with a phrase or a saying, and you can just put it.
I'll just put it down here.
Yeah, you can just put it in your inventory.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that you would, that you can swap to. Order phrase. Yeah.
Oh, there's 3 of them that I have to come up with.
3 sayings or values.
So
you can say like values, virtues. They can be single word things. Strength.
I was gonna say strength and honor. Strength from Gladiator. God, see, this is one of those things where like I know this is taking a long time for video. I know there's going to be able to be cut down, but this is one of those things where, as just a classic D&D player, I'm not great at. And so this is something that's going to be a lot of fun during the game to try to remember as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my
truthfulness, Scout's Law.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my. Was it right hand or left hand? I think it was our right hand.
I think it was right.
No, it was the left one because it's closest to the heart.
Oh yeah.
Left is closest to the heart. Camaraderie is
Okay.
a good one because a troop, the family is close. So
camaraderie.
a saying or something would be for the family.
Okay, there you go. Camaraderie for the family, and
And the last one,
oh god, what?
need a hand.
Yes. Please make that one of them. Need a hand. You're very helpful, but you also are hands and feet. You have hand feet.
Which is so funny too because I went away from finesse.
Yep. Well, no, finesse is different.
But
Finesse isn't dexterity. Finesse is like.
But it says control though. It literally says control and finesse. All right. Anyways, so anywho, that's fine.
It's like
I'm
fine
with
motor
those.
control, but you have giant orangutan hands.
I do. All right, cool. I'm fine with both. I'm fine with all three of those. So one of them is the value, and then the other two are sayings.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Cool. The last thing that I think we do is choose your domain cards. So these determine the abilities of your character.
So this is what I was jumping the gun on originally.
So a class is a combination of two different domains, two different aspects, right? And so the Guardian has the aspect of Valor and the aspect of the Blade.
So I don't know if this is going to pick it up or if he's going to take a picture later, but it's that shield and the axe that are on this card. And every class has two things to it. So it doesn't matter which subclass you go for, you're always going to have those two. It's just that you kind of get like special things for the other ones.
And so at the beginning of every character creation, you have 3 cards you can pick from per domain. You are going to pick a total of 2 cards of these 6 that I'm going to show you.
It doesn't have to be just from one or one from each. It can be whatever. I'm not doing that one. Because that would make more sense for the other Guardian.
Yeah, I am your shield. When an ally within very close range would take damage, you can mark a stress to stand in the way and make yourself the target. So we're going to take that off. So the other Valor ones are forceful push. You can make an attack with your primary weapon against a target in melee range, and on a success, you deal damage and knock them back to close range instead. On a success, with hope, you can add a d6 to your damage. Additionally, you can spend a hope to make them temporarily vulnerable.
Oh, that might be nice
Meaning
because
when
I have
others
reach,
attack them, they get advantage.
which might be nice too because I have reach.
Yeah.
Also, too, if we get stuck in a situation where like we're in a doorway or something, I can knock them out, knock them back from that. Ooh,
Yep.
Okay.
Bare bones, when you choose not to equip armor, you have a base armor score of 3 plus your strength, and use the following as your base damage thresholds.
Whoa, that's nice.
That's actually
That is
kind of insane.
So overpowered. Okay, so really quickly, it's saying an armor score of a 3 plus your strength modifier. So I have a +2 on my strength.
So it's a
which
5.
brings me up to a 5 for my armor, which is not a lot, obviously, because base is normally
It's 2 more than, or it's 1 more than you already have right now, and your
So I have a 4 normally. So I go up by 1 on my armor because I have a strength of 2 and it says base of 3. Wearing chainmail, it's a 7 and a 15. This is saying
9 and 19.
9 and 19. We're going that way. I'm not even wearing armor anymore. This is a definite. I don't even care what the other ones are. This is for sure. I'm taking that because that is so strong.
All right, let's update your. I'll update your sheet.
Oh my goodness gracious! Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So that was the Valor domain that I chose that one from. So now from the Blade domain.
And your evasion's going to go up by 1 because now you're not wearing.
Ooh, that's right. Whirlwind is the ability. Make an attack against a target within very close range. On a successful, spend a hope to use the attack against all other targets within very close range. All additional adversaries you succeed against with this ability take half damage. So that's pretty cool because that could do nice small amounts of damage if there's a big group of people, hordes. The other one is not good enough. When you roll your damage dice, you can re-roll any 1s or 2s. And then the last one says, get back up. When you take severe damage, you can mark a stress to reduce the severity by 1 threshold. Oh my gosh, I feel like I should go the other direction and go with this one and this one. I don't know what I want anymore. Really quickly, there's numbers and lightning bolts in the top right corner.
You can only ever have 6 abilities in your roster at any time.
Okay.
But as you level up, you get 1. every level.
Okay.
And so by the time you hit like level, you're gonna have be maxed. And so by level 4 you're maxed. At level 5 you're gonna start putting cards into your vault.
Okay.
And so on rests, short or long, you can swap.
Oh, that's
and
kind of
you
nice.
can swap them freely.
Okay.
But if you have something in your vault that you want to be able to use in the moment, you have to pay
The stress.
a stress.
Okay, that's what
And
I
that's
thought
what
it
a
was.
lightning bolt is.
Okay.
Which means the ones that are 0
Don't cost anything.
don't cost anything to swap into.
But so that's an instant, right? But
so
if I
all of a
rest,
sudden,
I can move it without
if
using
somebody's
stress.
clever, and I'm going to throw this out there because I just had this idea. If somebody has the bare bones
Uh-huh.
ability, let's say they're level 6 and they've got like a leveled up armor on, but they run out of their armor slots. What if they take an action to drop their armor off and swap bare bones into their thing to refresh their armor slots?
It's really cool. I'm not doing it. I really like the 1s and 2s. Like I said, these 3, if I went the other direction, are so powerful. I'd have such a hard time deciding between them. I still think that's great. I really like this. I think I'm gonna go with the other 0.
Go with the other world. Go with Whirlwind.
Just because
and the other
it
thing is
goes
when you level
with...
up, you have access to these again. So at level 2, you can pick from these or the level 2 ones.
These 2 go amazing together, but I can't pass up the oh, man, I don't know. Okay, I'm looking at it like I can only choose one from each.
Because you could go both of those. You could go both of those.
You know what? I'm gonna do forceful,
forceful
push.
push?
Yes, because once again, it pushes somebody back. I can do an additional die 6 damage on the roll, and I can make them temporarily vulnerable possibly. But it's that forceful push that I think is going to become really nice within melee range.
Yeah, so you can push them back to very close and still hit them.
Yeah, I can still hit them because I have a reach
And there's a
weapon.
chance that they might not be able to hit you.
So this would be good, like if they use their turn to get in on me,
You can bounce them
and
back.
and
still
they
hit them.
can't necessarily, let's say, like attack that turn. I can bounce them back, so then they have to try to come in
Or push them through a door.
or off a cliff.
Or off a cliff.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think that's a good grab.
Sanji spins on his hands, halberd in his feet, and knocks somebody off a cliff.
Oh, little do you know, I've been trying to brainstorm a name.
Yeah.
No,
this-
actually, I have no idea. I haven't even thought about it. The Simiah and the Simiah, the Sanjilia, the Simeia, Simeia.
That's the last thing.
Is literally the name. Is this and then the name?
Yup. What are you going to name your Orderborn Simeia, your Vengeance Guardian,
Who is an orangutan?
who is an orangutan?
Oh,
I'm going
good.
to the race section to see if there are examples of names.
That would be very helpful because all that I was thinking of is like, you know how in a lot of older native peoples like heritages, it's not like Stan or Daphne, it's like she who moves like running water, you know, like stuff like that. I was thinking something very, very funny like that.
Here we go. Here's some examples. Lee Dust Meadow, Aunt Moss Malt, Jetty Honor Glow, Sonria Keen Meadow, Jed Lackridge, Hamdallah Keen Knight, Lindy Windwillow, Amaroon Evercask, Sappora Barley Brew, and Ang Plain Rock are the examples.
No.
Dread Evertail.
I don't have a tail. Can't do that one.
Yep. Something very, or you could be red fur.
I have purple.
You have purple fur.
Um,
Maybe mist fur.
I have blue eyes, and I have purple fur. Very light purple, mind you.
Mhm.
So,
It's a good
because it's
name for an
wisteria.
orangutan.
I don't know. An orangutan with wisteria colored fur, which is very whitish, if I'm not mistaken. It's an exceedingly light purple.
Here we go. Orangutans, particularly in zoos and rehabilitation centers, are often given names that reflect their personalities. Harith, meaning bringer of good news. Eddie.
They call me
Eddie.
Eddie.
Katembe.
No, you know what?
Lada.
I'm gonna
Tom.
go. God, it's too bad it wasn't Tim.
Be Tim.
I don't want
Be Tim the orangutan.
to. I'm gonna be.
Start throwing syllables together.
Well, I'm using a K is the start of it. It's K.
Ka.
It's a
Cadbolg.
no. It's gonna be a coup something.
Ku.
It's coup. It's a very guttural. It's coup.
Kuzan.
Shout out to those Avatar fans.
Oh no, I was thinking One Piece. Kuzan.
Oh,
Admiral.
Kuzan is the name that Aang took in Avatar
Oh well, I don't.
because that was his friend 100 years ago in the Fire Nation.
Oh well, I was Admiral Kuzan, the guy with the light beams.
Oh, that's right. Let's go with Kuzark.
Kuzark. Okay,
Yeah,
I
so
like it.
It's a K.
You. Oh, Koo. Okay. Koozark. Okay.
I'm phonetic.
And that's Kuzark. Do you have a surname or is it just Kuzark?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. And of course, I let the screen go dark. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. They have multiple examples of different monkey species, and really good for thought process. But obviously, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into something because you see it. They do have some pretty cool looking ones. Like they have a guy with a bow in his feet while he's holding onto a branch. And they have a pirate. They have a couple sorcerers. That's pretty neat. The two abilities that I went with were both from the shield. Can't remember, it's not the blade, it's the other one, which is Forceful Push and Bare Bones. Bare Bones is so overpowered. It is delightful. Obviously, people are going to view this because you're going to post it. If the chat comes up with one that they like, then I'm going to go with that surname. And
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you guys get to come up with Kuzark's surname. If you want to come up with a good one, leave it in the comments. So this is what we've come up. We've got Kuzark, the Order-born Simeia. He is a Vengeance Guardian, he/him level 1. He is a 10 evasion, a 5 armor score. His thresholds are 9 and 19. He uses a halberd, and he is hyper aware, and he never lets go. That also means grudges. Like there's a lot of things that could.
There's so many different ways I can use that phrase, which is great.
He is a Simiah, so he is an orangutan with wisteria skin and fur, eyes like sea foam.
So that's actually kind of green, actually.
Yeah. Body that's carved, very strong.
I don't have a neck.
He has an attitude of a captain. He's wearing tactical, tactical pants, because you're not wearing anything up top.
There's pockets.
He had a family member, a cousin, that he gave bad advice and who unfortunately could not be protected. He is carrying a secret key that he has to take to a banished member of his troop, and he is overly confident, positive, and it leads him to overpromise and underdeliver in certain expectations. So that's what we've come up with, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you like this kind of video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more, maybe hit that notification bell, you know, if you want to keep up to date with everything that's going on. Should we run do you want to see more characters? Do you want to see us run a game with some of the characters we've made? Let me know in the comments. I'll see y'all next time. Next time.
Get me to the church on time.
See you later. Bye, nerds!